Okay, we did the front spring. Let's do an armature for the rear leaf springs. So I'm going to press Alt-H. I'm going to re-hide that, and we'll just hide our front suspension too. Actually, we need to move these springs to the front suspension. So move to collection, jalopy, modeled, front suspension. All right, and let's come into a side view here, and I'm going to hide the wheel tire. And I'm going to move my cursor to the center of this leaf spring. But I want to recalculate the origin. Shift S, cursor selected. And now let's add an armature. I'm going to make sure I'm in my rear suspension modeled. And I'm going to do Shift A, armature. Alright. Let me scale it down quite a bit. And I'm going to move it here. And I'm going to rotate it. So we want 5 armature. Let me see. We want viewport display, and we'll do it in front like that. Okay. So I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to pick this. And I'm going to extrude another bone out to about where, right below the axle. Extrude another bone halfway in between the axle and this end. Oops. Extrude another one. I'm extruding it by pressing E to there, the center of the hanger. And then extrude one more bone along the Z up to the center of the top of the hanger. Okay. All right. I want to select, let me go into edit mode. And I want to select this bone, and this bone. Come up to armature and do switch direction so that they're facing that way. And then I want to select one more bone from here and extrude it down like that. And I want to disconnect this. So I'm going to press Alt-P, clear parent, like that. And I'm going to name this bone. I'm going to call it IK. All right, and we want to disconnect this one also. So I'm going to press Alt-P, clear parent. All right, so now we want to go to pose mode. We want to select this bone, or I'm sorry, we want to select this bone. Actually, let's go into edit mode again. Select this bone. We want to unparent it, so clear parent. Then go into pose mode. We want to select this bone and press Shift I, create an IK constraint. And for this one, we want to make sure it stretches 1. So under bone properties, under inverse kinematics, make the bone 1. All right, we want to select the IK bone, then this bone, and press Shift I to active bone. And now let's see what that does. All right, actually, we want this to be parented. So let me do this. Shift, select that, Control P, and connected. All right, now it should work with the right bones. Okay, so that should be working. All right, and then we want to go back into edit mode, select this bone, and then this bone, the IK bone, and parent that. So connected. Oops. Connected, keep offset. All right, so let's go into pose mode and see if that works. Okay, so that looks like it's working, like it should. All right, so the leaf spring actually has quite a few pieces. Let me go back to object mode and actually go into edit mode. And let's just explode this mesh. So we're going to do separate by loose parts. Okay, go back into object mode, and we need to parent these loose parts. So first off, I'm going to join these two together. Control J. And then we want to parent it to this bone. So I'm going to select this, and select the armature, go into pose mode, select that bone, and press Control P, and do bone. And the same thing on this end. Go back into object mode, select this, and the little cylinder here, press Control J to join them, then select that object, select the armature, go into pose mode, select that bone, and do Control P, parent to the bone. And we want to do the same thing with the hanger. Select the hanger, select the armature, pose mode, select this bone, Control P, parent it to the bone. And this block, we want to do the same thing. Let's take this block, shift select the armature, go into pose mode, select this bone, IK bone, and we'll parent it to that. Okay. Let's go back into object mode. Or let's go into pose mode and see how that works. So it looks like that's working like we want it. Alright, now we just need to parent the leaf spring itself to the armature. And there's actually a few leaf springs, so let's make sure we get all of them selected. I think there's 4 of them. Yep, select 4 of them. And then shift select the armature, press Control P, and do set parent to armature deform with automatic weights. Now if we go into pose mode, it stretches like it should. Okay. And we're going to delete this side. Oops, let's go into object mode. And let's just delete this side. Or actually, let's copy this. So I'm going to do Shift D and then X and move it right there. And then we'll delete this side. Okay, I'm going to move this one a little bit right there. Okay. All right. Now let's get our rig back, and we need to add a child constraint to this bone. Not edit mode. We want to be in pose mode. Select that bone, go into add bone constraint, and do child of. And we want the upright. So we're going to pick the upright here. And we do not want Z rotation. Okay, let's go back into object mode. We'll pick this armature, go into pose mode, select that bone, add a bone constraint, child of, and select this upright on this side, unselect Z rotation. Okay, let's see how this works. And it looks like it's kind of working, except we need to parent. We need to parent the whole armature to the, we'll do it to the subframe. So let's pick both armatures, and then the subframe, Control P, Object Keep Transform. Now it looks like it's working. All right, just a quick correction. You actually don't want to uncheck the Z rotation for the rear, for these armatures. So make sure to check that, otherwise it'll look weird.